back out here every day, getting that work in. Give a few minutes, anybody wants to hop in. Yeah, Yankees, big win last night, 10-3. Got some life from the bat. Giancarlo Stanton, Judge, Austin Wells, Jazz Chisholm. Got some life in these bats, right? It's good to see. And tonight, we get the Major League debut of Cam Schlittler versus Seattle, too. So, I'm looking forward to that. Wanted to see, you know, I saw a clip of George Steinbrenner, you know, back in the day. And he said, you know, when you play for the Yankees, you wear the pinstripes with pride. It has meaning, right? And I agree with that, 100%. Good morning, good morning. And I agree. And do you think, you tell me, you think George Steinbrenner would have tolerated, you know, wearing a damn Viking hat after a home run, or a leather jacket, or a heavyweight championship belt after home runs, or traipsing around the clubhouse or the dugout in a wheelbarrow or a shopping cart? No, he wouldn't have, right? Well, guess what? They're not doing that now. He's been gone, may he rest in peace, over a decade. They're not doing it now, okay? And the culture remains just the way that it is, despite what people say. Aaron Boone's lost the team, lost the clubhouse. Nobody can prove that. Nobody. Okay? And they're not doing this stuff now. I mean, Hal lightened up the facial hair policy. Okay. Are these guys acting like a bunch of apes and cavemen now? No, they're not. Okay? They have a high five, a little dance when they hit a home run, and they keep it moving. They keep playing. These guys quietly go about business. Okay? It's a little bit differently than George Steinbrenner way of loud going about it, and that's fine. You don't need to be loud to get your point across with the mouth, okay? And yes, I am breathing hard because I am training. I just trained about 40 minutes. So people questioning my fitness, because I train an hour every morning. And I invite the people who call it out to come and try it with me. You would have a heart attack after 5 minutes. You can't do what I do. Okay, you can't. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, you can't. Okay? Now, do I think they are... Good morning to everybody in here, by the way. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for joining me early this morning. And by the way, got some folks accusing me, right? To other people, not even directly to my face, of trying to sabotage them by going live in the morning when no one else is live. Okay? I don't spend my time thinking about ways to sabotage other people. Okay? I generally can't go live later in the morning, so I'm spending 15, 20 minutes with you now to say good morning and see what you're thinking about last night. Okay? This is my opportunity to talk with you right now, since I can't do it later. Put my sunglasses down because there's a lot of sun out. So, you give me your take. I mean, if you haven't heard last night too, well, give me your take on the culture, by the way, and whether you notice this stuff. And yeah, Hal Steinbrenner is a much more reserved version of his dad. We get that. We get that. Some people like it, some people don't. That's fine too. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, he's not gonna run his mouth and give clueless people a chance to run their mouths with propaganda. Neither was Brian Cashman, neither was Aaron Boone. Say what you want to say about the post-game interviews, right? Blah, blah, blah. That's what people love to run with. Yet the majority of the people who talk about it don't play the game, have never played the game, don't understand the game, okay? A fan perspective is good, but it's not the same thing as the dugout or on the field, okay? Excuse me, that's a lawnmower. It's not the same at all. No, good morning, everybody in the chat. If you don't mind, hit the like button. thumbs up. I greatly appreciate you. But that's the question I have for you. What do you notice about the culture today versus when George was here? And keep in mind, too, George also went through a long stretch of not winning the World Series. 1978 to 1996. 18 years. He was the owner. He was the man. 18 years. People love to they pound Cashman, pound Hal, but leave George Steinbrenner for something that happened the same way in his reign. Okay? Let's call a spade here. People are welcome to criticize Boone and Hal and Cashman. Sure, that's fine. But if we're going to leave that part of the story out, why? Because other people are leaving that part of the story out. I want to build a culture of leaders here. And not followers, not so-called bosses. That's my take. I don't speak for everybody. People can disagree with me all they want. I don't block people for disagreeing with me. Okay? People are welcome to voice their opinions. We talk about it every single night in the post games, differing views, and so on and so forth. And I invite people to, if you have a take, please explain your take. Defend your take. Otherwise, people are likely going to call it out. That's just the way that it is in the Yankee fan community. That's not a problem. That's a good thing. That's what makes the Yankee fan community so great. So that was the first question I have for you. Second question is, did you notice this last night? I pointed it out last night on the live stream. Thank you for those that were a part of it and joined me. Shout out to all. I can't really see the comments yet because I'm doing my walk and my phone's bouncing up and down. So I'll get to that in a few minutes. But anybody knows? So yeah, Everson Pereira and Brian De La Cruz were scratched from the AAA lineup last night. Okay, 2 outfielders scratched from the lineup. But also, to complement that, Trent Grisham was in the dugout, not in uniform. He was in plain clothes. Okay? Generally, I know a lot of people saying he was going to be put on the IL. Number one, hasn't happened yet. May happen today. But to add to that point, people that are on the IL are still in uniform. So, first thing I had in mind, and again, hasn't happened yet, is do the Yankees have a trade in the works? And do they have to wait for the games on the West Coast to finish before they complete a trade? Does something happen today? I mean, a roster move is going to happen today regardless because Cam Schlittler, who's starting tonight and making his Major League debut, has to be a 6-man roster. And he hasn't been put on it yet. So, a pitcher, probably, I'm going to guess Jeff Hartlieb, they're going to move on from, or at least DFA or option out or whatever, and make room for Cam Schlittler. That's the first name I can think of. It might be someone else for all we know, right? So, don't know yet. But did anybody else notice that Grisham was in plain clothes in the dugout? That is a noticeable thing because players really don't do that if they go in the IL. They're not there in plain clothes because they're in their unis, getting rehab, training, doing whatever, getting better with trainers and whoever else during the games, before the games, after the games, and whatnot. So that was a noticeable thing. And the timing of it was just peculiar, right? Are one of those infielders and Trent Grisham, one of those outfielders and Trent Grisham going to be packaged in a trade for somebody? An arm? A third baseman? We don't know. But moving on from Trent Grisham, I mean, I'll miss him. I'll miss his glove. He was a good clubhouse guy. He was a good teammate. He was a good pro. He was pretty darn good this year. But it also clears a little bit more direct path for Jason Dominguez to play more regularly, right? Which I know a lot of fans want, okay? Which I'm fine with. But like I said, there was also an argument for Jason Dominguez to not be leadoff. He was 0 for 5 last night with 2 strikeouts, okay? At leadoff. There's an argument to be made for him to bat behind Judge also. But people are welcome to have their positions on either way. But do you go with the hot bat or the hot legs? I go with the hot bat. Right? The fact is, he's not stealing base De La Cruz around Acuna, right? So, how often do they steal crazy bases? They don't. So you want to take advantage of his speed, let him put the ball in play, drive guys in, and then take advantage of his speed. That's just my take. And again, if you bat him behind Judge, then it's less likely they're going to pitch around Judge or intentionally walk him. They're going to have to pitch to him more frequently, which is going to create more opportunities for Aaron Judge. And then you have Jazz, Dominguez, whoever behind him. But I think a lot of this will be more solidified once they get a bat here, potentially a third. And it's going to be third base now. Now that Jazz Chisholm has been moved for good to second base, at least for this season. And they've confirmed that already. So any trade that's going to happen is going to happen with a third baseman. And we've talked about these guys, like Ryan McMahon. You know, if he stats away from Coors Field, but if he comes here, I'd bat him in the bottom of the lineup. If somebody like a Brian Hayes comes here, or Ahmed Rosario, whatever, you bat him at the top of the lineup to utilize their speed. But again, none of these guys have on-base percentages like Juan Soto does, right? So, and speaking of Juan Soto, I don't know if you heard him last night, they interviewed him, you know, and he said not making the All-Star game and blah, blah. First thing he said was, yeah, we're leaving a lot of money on the table here. First thing he did was he talked about money, okay? This is why I'm glad he's a Met, not a Yankee. Okay? That type of comment right there. The culture, right? That is not good for this culture here. And again, the culture is not much different than it was before. They may operate things a little bit quieter. And again, you don't always need to be loud and obnoxious to get your point across. They're, you know, still at the top of a lot of categories offensively on a consistent basis, right? And has anybody noticed the Dodgers have lost their 5th game in a row? The Dodgers are also in a tailspin like the Yankees were, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's the Yankee season's over, they're cooked. Is anybody saying that about the Dodgers? They just lost 5 in a row. Five in a row, Dodgers. The behemoth, the Goliath, right? Got my cardio in too. 30 to 40 minutes of hard functional training, and then about 25-30 minutes of good cardio. Got an hour's worth of training in again. Okay? Hour every day. Monday through Friday in the mornings, because I have no choice. It's the only time I could train. If my intention were to sabotage people, I would go live when they go live. Okay? But I don't do that. I have better things to do with my time than to sit here and try to sabotage people. I'd rather hang out here with you guys and gals. And I thank you all for joining me this morning. Now I can breathe a little bit. Exhale. And good morning, everybody. Here, Jonathan, there he is. Yeah, nobody talks bad about the Dodgers. That's right. They just lost 5 in a row. Going through the same thing the Yankees just went through, right? But we got Yankee fans coming on here and essentially defending the Dodgers and not the Yankees. Guardians are also struggling. And good morning, Nathan. What's up, my man? My man, John K. Let's go. Got to get that working, man. You ain't training, you're not getting better, right? Boone is not on his way to getting the boot, so yeah. All that money. The Dodgers put more money into the team. They just lost 5 in a row. The Mets put more money into the team. They're not even in first place either. Okay? Yeah. People can trash Boone all they want, but none of these people can do what he does. None of these people can play. None of these people can coach. None of these people can manage. Okay? Ken, what's up, my man? Yeah. My wife brought the glove home last night, so I'm breaking it out. I'm rubbing oil on it this morning. So if they need to give me a call, I'll work my way up there. I'll make myself available readily for them. Stroman, I mean, look, he's actually been relatively decent since he's been back. But maybe they're showcasing, we just don't know. Maybe they're showcasing him for a trade. I know they like to move him, but now that Schmidt's gone, do they keep him? Do they trade for another starter? I know that they're hoping that Schlittler pans out. I'm hoping that he gets a second run and so on and so forth, right? Because he's been filthy and dominant in AAA and AA. So if he's that good at the major league level, maybe they'll keep him around. And we just don't know yet. But nevertheless, they need to add 2 or 3 relief arms to serve as a security blanket for these starting rotation guys, right? And then when Ryan Yarbrough comes back, maybe he'll be long relief, right? Maybe when Luis Hill comes back, maybe he'll be long relief. I know they said they're going to build him up as a starter, but I think long relief might be better suited for him coming off of this injury, which he's missed 2/3 of the damn season already almost. It might be better to ease him in. Long relief is an easier transition back to the rotation, right? What if they rushed Schmidt back from an injury and now he needs freaking Tommy John? We just don't know. But people speculate that. People assume. People are already saying it. I can't prove it, but that's what people are saying. So this is the environment that we deal in Yankee land, right? Educated Yankee fans, informed Yankee fans, clueless Yankee fans, but nevertheless, they're all outspoken. And that's their right to be outspoken. Graham. Yeah, the Astros. Yeah, Astros are playing extremely well. Extremely well. So they're a team to not discount. So are the Blue Jays, team to not discount. And I think those teams are probably going to add, just like the Tigers. I think all 3 of those teams are probably going to add at the deadline. Now that they're playing this well. So, and Beagle, what's happening, my man? Yeah. Anyway, gang, I'm going to run in. I want to say good morning to you. Give me your takes on this. All right. Love talking with you. Love the family, the 161 Mafia. Have a great day. Got to get the girls ready for camp so that I'm not trying to sabotage other people who go live later in the morning. Right? Peace.